Watch him pull an AR-15 on the highway patrol.
The driver pulled over for speeding, pointed a rifle at a highway patrol officer yesterday. CHP says it happened just north of Reading on I-5. An officer stopped a vehicle on the Mountain Gate off-ramp. The driver, they say, got out of the car, pointed the AR-style assault rifle toward the officer. Officials say the suspect re-entered his vehicle and then they started pursuit. Vehicle continued southbound, driving at varying speeds before exiting the freeway at Oasis, continuing for about 2 miles west before stopping near Vigil Court. The suspect taken into custody, booked into Shasta County Jail.
Watch him pull an AR-15 on the highway patrol.
The driver pulled over for speeding, pointed a rifle at a highway patrol officer yesterday. CHP says it happened just north of Reading on I-5. An officer stopped a vehicle on the Mountain Gate off-ramp. The driver, they say, got out of the car, pointed the AR-style assault rifle toward the officer. Officials say the suspect re-entered his vehicle and then they started pursuit. Vehicle continued southbound, driving at varying speeds before exiting the freeway at Oasis, continuing for about 2 miles west before stopping near Vigil Court. The suspect taken into custody, booked into Shasta County Jail.
Stop acting like the machine is broken. Morally, it's broken, but intentionally, it's not. The machine is not broken. It's running exactly the way it was designed to run. Black people are exhausted from watching the same script play out across generations. For centuries, a black child exists, a non-black person decides that existence is a threat, an insult, or a crime, a trigger is pulled, a life is stolen, and then the legal system steps in to perform its ultimate function, to sanitize the slaughter, to turn a victim into a suspect and a killer into a victim. And it keeps happening. It's been happening, and it's going to keep happening if nothing changes. The root cause of this is not just prejudice. It is a foundational, historical addiction to the devaluation of black life. This country was built on a legal framework where black skin legally equated to property, and property has no rights that a white or dominant structure is bound to respect. That blueprint never left you guys. It just evolved. It traded the slave catcher's whip for a badge, a civilian's gun, and a defense attorney's closing argument. It traded the slave catcher's whip for a badge, a civilian's gun, and a defense attorney's closing argument. The system doesn't see a 14-year-old kid like Cyrus Belton or Tamir Rice as a child. It sees them through a lens of inherent criminality. It weaponizes fear to justify execution. If a bottle of water, a pack of Skittles, a toy gun, or a cell phone can be legally twisted into a death warrant, then the problem is not the item. The problem is the skin of the person holding it. Because even if they did steal it, which they didn't, nobody's life is worth being taken over a bottle of water, much less a 14-year-old boy. And let's talk about the sickness of the trial itself. Every single time, they put the dead child on trial. They dig up their lives, looking for any flaw, any mistake, any regular teenage behavior to justify why they're buried 6 feet deep. They demand the children be perfect little saints just to have a right to breathe. But the penalty for being an imperfect teenager is not execution. White kids get to mess up, shoot up schools, murder, get grace, and grow up. Black kids get autopsies and cover-ups. The system protects these killers because it sympathizes with their delusion. It rewards the vigilant mindset of mess up, shoot up, why they're buried 6 feet deep. They demand the children be perfect little saints just to have a right to breathe. But the penalty for being an imperfect teenager is not execution. White kids get to mess up, shoot up schools, murder, get grace, and grow up. Black kids get autopsies and cover-ups. The system breathe. But the penalty for being an imperfect teenager is not execution. White kids get to mess up, shoot up schools, murder, get grace, and grow up. Black kids get autopsies and cover-ups. The right to breathe. But the penalty for being an imperfect teenager is not execution. White kids get to mess up, shoot up schools, murder, get grace, and grow up. Black kids get autopsies and cover-ups. The system protects these killers because it sympathizes with their delusion. It rewards the vigilant mindset of ordinary people who look at a black boy and decide they are the judge, jury, and executioner. The court looks at a killer's manufactured irrational fear and says that fear is reasonable. They legalize the paranoia. Black people carry the weight of this trauma every single fucking day. It's a heavy, suffocating grief that gets passed down from parent to child. It's the talk they have to give their kids, not about stranger danger, but about systemic danger. It's the constant, agonizing awareness that no amount of innocence, no amount of compliance, no amount of manners or kindness, no amount of good behavior, no amount of minding your own goddamn business, no amount of staying on your P's and Q's, no amount of staying out the way, and no amount of childhood can protect you if someone decides your breathing is an offense. Stop asking nicely for your humanity to be recognized by a structure that profits off your subjugation. The solution starts with absolute refusal. Refuse to accept their verdicts as the final word on moral truth. Dismantle the legal protections like qualified immunity, biased self-defense claims, and jury selection processes that allow killers to walk free. Build and control your own institutions, fund your own legal defenses, and create economic and political consequences so severe that the system can no longer afford to let your killers go free.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 52, from verse 1 to verse 7. It reads, Why boastest thou thyself in mischief, O mighty man? The goodness of Yahweh endureth continually. Thy tongue deviseth mischiefs, like a sharp razor working deceitfully. Thou lovest evil more than good, and lying rather than to speak righteousness. Selah. Thou lovest all devouring words, O thou deceitful tongue. Yahweh shall likewise destroy thee forever. He shall take thee away and pluck thee out of thy dwelling place, and root thee out of the land of the living. Selah. The righteous also shall see and fear, and shall laugh at him. Lo, this is the man that made not Yahweh his strength, but trusted in the abundance of his riches, and strengthened himself in his wickedness. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Your brother Kahan from the GMS Prophetic Vibration Camp here in Trinidad, with another edification through the power and spirit of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. First and foremost, Kal Halayam La Alahayanawa Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakahakodash, Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahushai, Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahushai, Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahushai. Double honors unto the apostles, the bishops, the elders, a great milestone that rule well. Salutations, double salutation unto the brothers who preaching and teaching us truth through the four corners of the earth, risking their lives and their freedom to do so no more than ever. Shalom unto the speckled blood Israelites, and shalom unto the very few but faithful Akwat, which is the sisters that listening and learning. Alright, so the title of this edification is somewhat to this. YouTube is hurt. YouTube is watching and they are hurt. Something to that effect. Yeah, YouTube is watching and they are hurt. Alright. Reason being, you might find it a bit unorthodox pursuant to the clips that are just played. But just bear with me, let me explain. I had done an edification a while back, maybe a month or so, if so much, concerning the situation that was taking place with Jake over in Babylon. Two Jake individuals, one who was murdered by a Moabite, alright, shot in the back. He was accused of stealing when the truth came out that he never stole anything, and he was shot in the back by a Moabite, a so-called Chinese, and the Chinese was the Chinaman. The Moabite man was acquitted of murder. Alright? He was acquitted of plain out murder. He murdered that young Jake. Alright? And the situation with Carmelo Anthony, the young man who had stabbed the young Jake who had stabbed the Edomite young man, alright, because the young man assaulted him and his friends, and Jake had was to defend himself in the best way possible that he could have defended himself, which was to put that Edomite to death. And he was found guilty. Alright, and we pointed out the hypocrisy and the double standards and the white supremacy. That is what I was pointing out, and the clips that I had played, and filtered through the scriptures, it was devastating to Esau, where Esau took down the video and strike me. Alright, the name of the video was Don't Expect to Get Any Justice from Your Oppressor. That was the title of that video. Don't expect to get any justice from your oppressor, and they took it down under the guise of violence, it promoting violence, when that video showed nothing of violence. The clips that I had played, it had nothing pursuant to incitement of violence or anything of that sort. All right? Anything of that sort. It's just the fact that the truth was pointed out. The facts were pointed out pursuant to these so-called white people. All right? And who they are, and what they are about, and whatnot, so forth, you know, and they were hurt. They were hurt. Because at the end of the day, all right, as the scripture say, I think like 4:12, Hebrews 4:12. Let me see. Because I would mention something a bit here. Let me just see if I could get this here. I got a Hebrews 4:12. Yeah, I think it's Hebrews 4:12. Hebrews 4:12 where it reads, yep, Hebrews 4:12 where it reads, for the word of the Most High Yahweh is quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword. All right, this word is what cuts them. All right, the truth, it cuts them. You understand? And pierce it even to the dividing asunder. All right, piercing even to the dividing asunder of the soul. All right, and spirit. All right, and the joints and marrow, and is a discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart. All right, this is what it is here. All right, it cuts their soul and their spirit, man. It cuts their spirit. And the thing about it with YouTube, what they are doing now, I don't know if, and I think better should point this out on a high scale. I'm just saying, you know, I'm not in no position to give no order, but it's just a suggestion, a humble suggestion, you know, because this is what I observe for some videos, well, that they have taken down from me under the false pretense that it in violence or whatever way, that is far from the truth. Before, when YouTube take down a video and whatnot so forth, you could have appealed the video and you could have made a case. All right, you could have made a case. You could have they would have put a box where you could have type out and argue your case and point out certain pointers pursuant to showing them where they are wrong. All right, and you and they know when I send it to them and whatnot so forth, you know, they would have no choice but to put it back up, but to put back up your video and take off the strike, or if they had strike you or whatnot so forth. Now what they do, they take away your right to argue. All right, they take away your right to argue your facts, to argue the facts. All right, and to point out their lies. Okay, they take away that, and what they do, they just put a little thing they call take action, and when you press that, you know, they would press. When they press that, they're not gonna review over nothing. They will just take a little 10 minutes or whatever and send back a message via your email that they review it and the decision stand, whatnot so forth. This, that, the other. You understand? You see the deceit, the wickedness of it. This is why we tell you so-called white people, you all are the fucking devil. You all are proving who the fuck you all are, and this is what it is. You all are just proving who you truly are, you so-called white people. Now I'm going to continue to point it out. Now watch this. Watch this. Let's go back to the first clip that I had played. Bear with me. Let's go back to this first clip, this clip here. This is the first clip that I had played. Let's go back to it and watch and just watch.
We're watching pulling AR-15 on the highway patrol.
What race of man that is? What race of man that is, and what does he has in his hand, and who the object that he has in his hand, who is he pointing it at? Watch.
Washington AR-15 on the highway patrol.
A fucking so-called white man, pointing an AR-15 assault rifle, an assault fucking rifle at the police. And watch what is going to, listen to what transpired after.
A driver pulled over for speeding pointed a rifle at a highway patrol officer yesterday. CHP says it happened just north of Reading on I-5 and
As I read there, a double standard is the unfair application of different rules, principles, or judgments to similar situations, people, or groups. Alright? It occurs when one party is given more leniency or reward than other, even though the circumstances are essentially the same. I had to move from here because I want to move from here. Noise. Right? So yeah. Right? So this is what it is here. Good? Listen.
highway patrol officer yesterday. CHP says it happened just north of Reading on I-5. An officer stopped a vehicle on the Mountain Gate off-ramp. The driver, they say, got out of the car, pointed the AR-style assault rifle toward the officer. Officials say the suspect re-entered his vehicle and then they started pursuit. Vehicle continued southbound, driving at varying speeds before exiting the freeway at Oasis, continuing for about 2 miles west before stopping near Vigil Court. The suspect taken into custody, booked into Shasta County Jail.
Now mind me, if you notice, let's play it back again. If you notice something, let's play this back again. Watch this.
Washington AR-15 on the highway patrol.
Driver pulled over for speeding.
Watch again.
Rifle at a highway.
Watch again. If you know,
Driver pulled over for speeding.
watch again.
Pulled over for speeding. Pointed a
And let's
rifle
continue,
at a
let's
highway
continue.
patrol officer yesterday. CHP says it happened just north
Right.
of Reading on I-5. An
If you
officer
notice
stopped
what?
a vehicle.
He fired at the officers. He discharged his weapon. And what transpired after that? He was taken safely into custody. Alright? Safely into custody he was taken. Alright? No harm was done unto him. Alright? They didn't hit him over 100 rounds. You understand? They didn't exchange gunfire with him. Alright? He was safely taken into custody. But a similar situation like that, if with Jake, if it was Jake, you know what would take place? They would have gunned down Jake like a dog. And the thing about it is, Jake don't even have to have a firearm in his hand. All Jake just have to have is a simple thing as a cell phone. And in their mind, they perceive that it is a firearm. And with that, it just gives them the right to open fire on Jake. And in their defense, they were afraid for their life. They were frightened for their lives. Alright? They were frightened for their lives. And nothing is going to take place. No justice is going to serve. This is what we're talking about, the double standards, the hypocrisy, the wickedness of the so-called white man. My edification wasn't on violence in the sense of promoting violence. You, Esau, you so-called white people are the violent ones. You all are the violent ones. You all go over the world, the whole world, and bring in your fucking violence. Perfect example, your boy Trump. Quite over on the eastern hemisphere of the world. Constantly attacking Iran. Yeah? Along with the Israelis. Yeah? You all are the ones that bringing violence. You all are the ones that is committing, bringing unaliving people on a mass scale. The genocide. You all know what I'm speaking about. On a large scale. It's you all. It's you all. It's you all. You understand? This is the wicked double standards of you Edomites. And we just pointing it out. We pointing out the truth. As the scriptures say, bear with me. This is Galatians 4:16 as the scriptures say. I therefore become your enemy because what? Because I what? Because I tell you the truth. Yeah, because we speaking the truth. We just that's all we doing, you know. But it's, you see, it just shows that who you are. That is Matthew. Oh gosh, that's in Matthew, you know, but I'll type that in. Bear with me. Father was a oh gosh, it was no there, you know. It did no pop up there, you know. Right. Alright, good. I was spelling murder wrong. Alright, Matthew. Or because John 8:44. It's John 8:44. Let's take a look at that. And I will go to the blue letter. Because I believe that was Yahushua speaking. So if it's Yahushua, it will be written in a red letter. Yeah, good. And this is you, Esau. This is John 8:44. Alright, it reads, ye are of your father the devil. Yeah, Esau? Ye are of your father the devil. The devil. Ye are of your father. Your forefather Cain. Your forefather the serpent nation. You so-called white people. This is who you all go back to. Alright, ye are of your father the devil. And the lust of your father, yeah, then you will do. There you will do. He was a murderer from the beginning. Alright? Your forefather Cain was a murderer from the beginning. And abode not in the truth. This is the reason why the truth will always hurt you all. And you all will always fight. Fight against the truth. But there's a scripture now come to my head as I speak in that. Yeah? Because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it. Yeah, this is who you all are. You all are liars. Yeah, and you all are the father of lies. You all are the inventors of lies, going all the way back to your forefathers. Yeah, the serpent nation back in the garden. You understand? That's why you all will always fight against the truth. But what the scripture say? With the scriptures here, I will paraphrase in the smallest of way. That is a nice one there, boy. And that one in the Apocrypha, you know. That one in the Apocrypha, but anyhow. Uh, all right. 2 Corinthians 13 and 8. Let's get that. 2 Corinthians 13 and 8, where it reads, all right, for we can do nothing against the truth but for the truth. You understand? And this is the thing here. You could try to fight the truth all how you want. You could try to fight the truth. Look at it. Look at it. You take down my video because I spoke the truth. All right. And every clip that I had played, all right, every clip that I had played, every single individual spoke the truth of you so-called white people and your system, you understand, and the oppression that we are going through under your system. Now you took it down, all right, with lies under the guise of what? That it promoting violence, which is lies. You understand? But what? It just motivates me to point back out again because hey, that's so ironic. You know, this clip that I was playing there, that 35-second clip that I was playing there. You know, I happened to discover that clip just after they took down my video. Just after they took down the video, I happened to the Lord happened to discover that little clip there, and I still look at that. I will use this clip. I will use this clip and show them. This edification is not on violence. You never hear any of us Hebrew Israelites talking about going into a movie theater or go into the schools or go to wherever and open fire on the people and whatnot, so forth, and this and that. No. What we do, we speak on the wicked violence that you portray, the violent nature of you so-called white people. But you see, the thing is, you so-called white people, which basically the so-called black woman take it from you, and that's why you and the so-called black woman could really mesh and gel and understand each other, because you all, a great factor with you all is that you all fail to take accountability of your actions. Yeah? This is what it is. This is what it is. Watch how wicked these people are. Watch your double standards. This is one of two that I'm going to show here. All right. In 2023, Alec Adamson of Prosper, Texas, shoots and kills a Negro student, a black student, so-called black student. All right. Shoots and kills him. Leads police on a car chase plus foot pursuit. All right. And they hold him. They didn't kill him. They hold him. 4 years, sentence for 4 years, and he only served 2. Right? Carmelo Anthony from Frisco, Texas, gets jumped by Edomite students, by so-called white students, defends himself with a knife, and sentenced to 35 years. Tell me this isn't a two-tiered system. Let's go again. Watch it again. Alright? This is Timothy Hudson. He raped and killed his stepsister. Yeah? This is what this Edomite did. He raped and killed his stepsister. A judge ruled because he is 16, he gets to spend time at home with family, awaiting trial. Alright, he's not an immigrant, not a Negro or brown person, a U.S. citizen with the complexion for protection. Yeah? With the complexion for protection. 16-year-old Khalif Browder, a Negro student, was tortured for 3 years in prison and solitary on the mere false accusation that he allegedly stole a backpack Yeah, that he allegedly, on false allegations, yeah, that he stole a backpack, right? A fucking book bag. Yeah? He died by suicide from the trauma. Hudson gets to chill at home after raping and killing. Yeah? Watch it. Watch the fucking devil. Watch the devil. Watch the devil. Watch him there. Watch the devil there. Yeah, YouTube? Yeah, YouTube? This is fucking facts we bringing out here. Alright? This is facts that is being brought out here. And you all are hurt. Just admit it. But you see, the thing is, we ain't vexing them. I ain't not vexing them, to be honest. Because at the end of the day, this is how you all operate. I'm not angry. You understand? This is something that is expected. I get used to it. I get used to videos being taken down. I get used to, you know, with the high possibility of losing the channel. I done lost a channel already. You know, so I get used to it. I get used to seeing brothers getting videos and channels taken down and all of that. So we're not angry. You understand? Because the point of the fact is, this is your kingdom here now. This is your time to rule. This is your time to rule. You understand? This is your time to rule. As the scripture say, bear with me. As the scripture said, I think it's Obadiah. Come on, pop up. As the scripture saying Obadiah, let me see. Let me see. Right, Obadiah 1 and 10. Alright, Obadiah 1 and 10, it reads, alright, for thy violence against thy brother Jacob, alright, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. So this is the reason why I am not really in my feelings too much to really thing, you know. Because this is things that is expected of you. This is something that I expect from the devil. Alright, from the deceiver. This is something to expect from them. Alright? And this is, as the scripture said, I had to go to the Isaiah 47. Yeah? Verse 11 it reads, in the day that thou stoodest on the other side, in the day that the strangers carried away captive his forces, and foreigners entered into his gates, and cast lots upon Jerusalem, even thou was as one of them. This was going back to the Babylonian captivity. Alright? But thou shouldest not have looked on the day that of thy brother, in the day that he became a stranger, neither shouldest thou have rejoiced over the children of Judah in the day of their destruction, neither shouldest thou have spoken proudly in the day of distress. Thou shouldest not have entered into the gate of my people in the day of their calamity. Yea, thou shouldest not have looked on their affliction in the day of their calamity, nor have laid hands on their substance in the day of their calamity. Neither shouldest thou have stood in the crossway to cut off those of his that did escape, neither shouldest thou have delivered up those of his that did remain in the day of distress. For the day of the Lord is near. The day of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua is near, Esau, upon all the heathen, all. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head, Esau. For as ye have drunk upon my holy mountain, so shall all the heathen drink continually. Yea, they shall drink, and they shall swallow down, and they shall be as though they have not been. But upon Mount Zion shall be deliverance, and there shall be holiness, and the house of Jacob shall possess their possessions. And the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau, you so-called white people, Edomites, yeah, for stubble, yeah, and they shall kindle them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining, any. As in the NLT it says, there will be no survivors in Edom. Yeah, there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Lord hath said it. You know why? Let's go to the Isaiah 47. I will stay here as I've done here in this app already. Isaiah 47, and I will start at verse 6. Isaiah 47 and 6. It reads, I was wroth with my people. I have polluted mine inheritance and given them into thine hand. And thou didst show them no mercy upon the ancient, as thou very heavily laid thy yoke. And thou saidst, I shall be a lady forever, so that thou didst not lay these things to heart, neither didst remember the latter end of it. They didn't remember the latter end. They didn't care about that. They think that, they could go on and on and on and on like the Energizer Bunny. The advertisement long time, you can go on and on and on and on. Nothing stops the Energizer Bunny. Well, yeah. Well, they can go on and on and on and on. Nothing can stop the Edomite supremacy. That's what they thought. Yeah? They didn't think of judgment to come. But what the Lord said, therefore, now hear this, that thou art given to pleasure, that dwellest carelessly, that sayest in thine heart, I am, and none else besides me shall not, I shall not sit as a widow, neither shall I know the loss of children. Yeah, but as the scriptures say, but these two things shall come to thee in a moment, in one day, the loss of children and widowhood, they shall come upon thee in their perfection, for the multitude of thy sorceries and for the great abundance of thine enchantments. Yeah, all your wickedness, you all are going to get judged. You all think you all can be doing this, all that wickedness to the children of Israel, and nothing is going to take place? You're sadly mistaken. Yeah? You all are sadly mistaken. You all think you could fight up against the truth and, nothing is going to take place? Yeah? You all fighting a losing battle. I will end with this last scripture. Actually, it's two scriptures that I have. I will end with. Alright? This first one will be Ecclesiasticus 4 and 25, where it reads, in no wise speak against the truth, but be abased in the error of thine ignorance. Yeah? 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 Be abashed, Salakia, of the error of thine ignorance. Alright? You all always want to come up against the truth. You all are going to fall. You all are going to fall. Because the scripture says, still in the book of Sirach, which will be the last, Sirach 27, verse 27, I will start at. Alright, it reads, he that worketh mischief, it shall fall upon him, and he shall not know whence it cometh. Yeah? I'll start from 26, Salakia. I'll start from 26. From 26. I can start from 25. Alright, so I'll read it over. Sirach 27, 25. Whoso casteth a stone on high, casteth it on his own head, and a deceitful stroke shall make wounds. Yeah? Whoso diggeth a pit shall fall therein, and he that setteth a trap shall be taken therein. He that worketh mischief, it shall fall upon him, and he shall not know whence it cometh. Yeah? There is where it is here. There is what it is. See, you all have a judgment to get. You Edomites have a judgment to get. You could take down how much videos you want, alright, and channels you want, and do all what you want to do, and what not so forth. Alright? You all will never win. Never. Alright, YouTube? You will never win. Alright? You could deplatform, you could shut down the whole internet. Yeah, and that is what we're waiting for you all to do. Shut down the whole fucking internet. Alright? To shut it the fuck down. The day all you shut that down is the day all your doom start. The day all you shut down the internet and this world can't be able to you all days done number, you know. But that is when it come closer. Right, YouTube? I know you all gonna listen this. I know you all gonna listen this bunch of fucking devils. Anyhow, your brother Kahan from the GMS camp signing out saying Kal Halayam La Alahayana wa Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai Ba'asham Rakaha Kodash Barakata Yahweh Barakata Yahushai Barakata Yahweh Barakata Yahushai Barakata Yahweh Barakata Yahushai. Double honors unto the apostles, the bishops, the elders, a great milestone that will well. Salutation unto the brothers who preaching and teaching this truth throughout the four corners of the earth, risking their lives and the freedom to be sin no more than ever. Shalom unto the scattered Israelites. Shalom unto the very few but faithful Akwat. Until then, we say shalom, shalom, shalom.